It's Riverbed, right?
Riverbed is
All
here.
right, so what we're going to do is we're going to be actually having this particular session in the cloud. You'll see what that means in a minute. So please welcome from Riverbed, we have Jürgen Mechtero, he's the regional VP for Riverbed, and we have Christian Zeman, right? And he's the Director of Enterprise Sales. Welcome to the stage, please.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. So I had the same show prepared like him. You know, how was the party? And obviously the party last night was great because a lot of people are still having breakfast. So we're still happy to be here.
Of course.
And who are you, by the way? No, just kidding.
I don't know.
So let's get it started. 2 interesting facts about Riverbed.
Yeah. So let's start with the first point. I think the next 20 minutes we will hear about how unified observability enables smarter cloud. But why we need that? What does it mean? Basically, we all know why customers want to move in the cloud. They want to have more flexibility, more stability, more innovation, more speed. On the other side, we have a challenge. We are in a consistent change. And change brings risk. We implement new applications, new services. We do a consistent change in the infrastructure. And with unified observability, we will show you how we can give you the full transparency across all 4 layers, the infrastructure, the application itself, the network, and the end-user experience. And we combine this in a unified observability. And yeah, Jürgen, I think we have a second important message.
But let me add to that. So Riverbed is known in the WAN acceleration and WAN optimization space for more than 20 years, so a well-known company. And we're heading into a new space, which is unified observability. And you mentioned it. It's monitoring on infrastructure, network, application, and at the desktop. That's the interesting fact number 1. Interesting fact number 2 is Riverbed is a US-based company.
That's right.
But we have a German-speaking, Germany-based German CTO. That's Oliver Oehlenberg, and he's going to run the show for the next 18 minutes. That's the interesting fact number 2 about Riverbed, and there's one thing to mention about Oliver Oehlenberg.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he can't be here in person because of a sick leave, but we are living in a modern, in a hybrid world, exactly. And therefore we are more than happy to introduce Oliver Oehlenberg, a longtime friend from us, and he's really a great guy, a great technical leader in our space, and we are happy to welcome Oliver here on stage with us. So welcome, Oliver, from...
Thank you very much. Yeah, good morning here from my isolation out of Cologne. So, yeah, my sick leave is really, unfortunately, I got this virus, and I'm really angry not to be on site. But maybe let's try it now in the cloud, try it now live. And yeah, as Christian have already highlighted, Riverbed is changing. Riverbed have done a lot of WAN optimization in the past, but now we're heading in an area called unified observability. And let me just only give you a short overview what does this really mean. So unified observability is first of all a kind of data collection. So it's a kind of monitoring. So really, let's use data to monitor if something is running, but more important, if something fits really to the purpose. So really, if the user gets the right experience, or maybe if an application performs well. That's one part of the unified observability. The second part is AI-driven analysis. It's data is one part, but it's if you must look into data to identify something, you must spend a long time and a lot of efforts into to create something meaningful out of this. And so therefore, the AI-driven analysis is more as important, really to bring out something directly on the table, to highlight something goes wrong, something goes works well. And finally, part of the unified observability is also an action. So really to fix maybe even in situations. So that's let's assume you're using just on your laptop and something goes wrong with this laptop. Maybe the hard disk runs out of space. The data will identify this. The AI-driven analysis will recognize, oh, here's something wrong. I must do maybe something. And then maybe something means let's start to clear the disk. So let's remove temp files. Let's remove the old whatever Windows update. Let's remove or let's empty the recycle bin. So there are actions available who we can also perform in this case. And all three areas is really unified observability. And like Christian have highlighted this, it doesn't really matter from where. And if I'm now draw the big picture for this, that's something who you know for sure. It's we're heading into the cloud. That's our DNA. We have users who are maybe unmanaged. That's the normal customers, normal consumers who using a device who we even don't know. But we have also managed clients, maybe from our organizations, from the enterprises, where an administrator has still the possibility to install, for example, something. On the other hand, there's a huge cloud environment with a lot of different services, with serverless services, with applications, even with virtual PCs within this cloud environment. But unfortunately, we're heading away from this, there's on the top right still a kind of on-prem data center. So customers must still use a little bit on-prem to move really fully into the cloud. So nothing new for you, just doing as a starting point. But there is also a different view on it. And that's more really the business side. That's something which our business is really driving. So we must really ensure that products must really deploy very fast into the market. So we need new solutions. So if a customer would like set up a new whatever shop system, we cannot wait a couple of years. So therefore, there are new technologies on the market like the low-code development part. But on the other hand, not only the applications moving into the cloud, what I've mentioned before, even desktops, even virtual desktops are now based in the cloud, communicating out of the cloud to local data centers, communicating to other cloud systems. So think about Microsoft 365, for example. A virtual Windows device is located maybe in your cloud system. And from there, they're accessing the Microsoft 365 world as well. So there's a huge business impact from this side. And the most important message below this is really it must work. And device and application and service must work. If the service don't work, we are really in trouble. Our customers cannot do his own job. And at the end, the old statements count still. Time is money. From this point on, let's have a look into what the new RiverbedIAternity part can do. I've spoken about data, and to be clear, data are really the necessary part to maybe launch a rocket, really to drive something. But to drive something, we need again also an intelligence. We need somebody who is maybe analyzing the data or something who is analyzing the data, so like really in AI. And that's exactly where our new solution, where our new observability platform will be placed in. So we have a couple of different collectors in the different areas. There's a collector, of course, at the endpoint, for example, really maybe a surface, maybe in a laptop, whatever. But we have also collectors in the full cloud environment. So if you have developed your own application, we can monitor this application in different ways. There's one component from us called User Journey Intelligence, UCI, which is really to understand how a user is adapting an application, where are maybe the challenges in. We have non-technologies like APM technologies who monitoring how an application is communicating in the back end. And we have also components in who monitoring the network traffic and even later on the infrastructure availability. So there are a couple of collectors available from us who collect just only data in the first step. And to be clear, you must not deploy everything. It's up to you. It's up to your aim, and it's up to your situation. And maybe it's enough to deploy just only something on endpoint. Maybe it's enough just only to look into an application and monitor from there. But overall, the unified observability solution gives you really a starting point in different areas. Let me bring this a little bit more to life. So it's this, from this high-level perspective, let's have a look into how this looks maybe for managed devices. So how it looks like maybe really for an VDI in the cloud. So maybe the Azure virtual desktop offering from Microsoft, or maybe you're hosting VDIs for your customers in your cloud. And in this case, our collector will be just only installed at the first step on this VDI, on where the user is really working with. And from there, we have different perspective. And I've spoken before about business needs. And business needs means manager must consume data. And from this point of view, there's a pretty high-level view, for example, into our solution, similar to KPIs, really similar to something where managers know really to identify with a number if something is working well and not. And even a normal manager will figure out with this view pretty easily what is going well and where are maybe my issues. So again, in this case, we are maybe installed on a VDI or maybe installed on a Surface, a laptop, whatever. And we're recognizing directly, hey, there is something wrong with the device. Or there's something wrong with, we call this productivity tools, which ends later on in for example, Microsoft Outlook or Excel, PowerPoint or whatever. But my Zoom sessions, my Teams sessions, whatever is working well. So we get on a very high level view already an idea where something is maybe going source and where I must have a look into to improve my service. And that's exactly the bottom line in this area. Managers are not really interested in what are really going wrong, which technical bytes are going is not correct. It's on a high level. They would like identify where to start to improve the service. And that's one of the possibilities from us. Another possibility on a high level, on a management view, is let's compare their own experience maybe with experience from other customers. So again, keeping VDI in mind or in laptop in mind. The big question is really, if the service who I'm providing to my consumers, to my end customers, is this a brilliant service? Or if there may be somebody outside who is much better. And the RiverbedIAternity solution is, for example, a fully SaaS-based solution, which means we are able to compare data from different customers. Of course, from a German point of view, only when they have give us the permission to do it. So there's an opt-in possibility where the customers can share information with us, and we will provide this information to every other customer on an anonymous way and on a high level. And this is one of the results. So for example, if I compare my environment, my devices are more or less in the middle of all the experience from other devices across the world. And if I'm looking a little bit more into detail, I'm facing in my environment a lot of printing issues in comparison to all other customers across the world who are using RiverbedIAternity. Finally, there's our good news there's an information, our login time, our boot time is much better. So we get really on a high level an idea how our service is really performing. And I know we have a lot of developers on CloudFest, a lot of technical guys on CloudFest, and yes, we have also the information for you. And I take really, in this case here, a real example from one of our customers. You have used SAP Work Manager as an application on a mobile device. And this application on a mobile device is communicating through a lot of change until a database, until SAP HANA, to receive tasks for the employee, so that the employee get a list what he must do maybe outside on a plant. And every morning he must initialize the first sync. And the first high-level view, again, is we recognize how long this needs. And there are sometimes unsuccessful syncs, but it needs over 1,000 seconds. I hope we have good skills in math, so 1,000 seconds is around about 50 minutes. So even every morning he must now wait 50 minutes to get his task list. But there is even another aspect. The sync is failing also a couple of times, but not directly, unfortunately. Maybe after 10 minutes. So we get at first an impression what is the impact on the user side, really the experience side. The second part is now more or less the AI part. Really, okay, we know there is an issue. Let's identify where to start with my journey from an analysis point of view. And from this point of view, the analysis, we call this commonality analysis, by the way, he's highlighting directly, hey, have a look into the Wi-Fi stuff. Something is very common at the endpoint in this case. Every time when it needs a long time, Wi-Fi is impacted. And from there, the next analysis will start. And the button or the result, the root cause of this scenario was when the Wi-Fi signal strength was going down below 50%, the sync job was really broken, was failed. So it was really at the end Wi-Fi issue. And based with other components, we have also underlined this message. We have directly identified which Wi-Fi elements or hotspots have raised this issue, and from there we have started more or less our journey to fix this. That's really in short, brief overview how it looks like from a technical point of view, from a VDI side. But again, the bottom line here is we must turn the services into experience. And that's not only our message. And I'm really happy to announce today our new partnership with Matrix 42. So Matrix 42, for example, is an ITSM, an ESM solution vendor here out of Germany, who is pretty strong in the most companies within Germany, within Europe. So in this case, we're feeding our data into Matrix to make it much easier for troubleshooting, to help people on the help desk to identify the issue, but also to fix the issue. And from this, just only some screenshot how it looks like. So if a Matrix service desk, or if a service desk member who's using Matrix opens the service desk, he gets directly the view who I showed you before. He gets directly an overview, oh, something goes wrong today with my devices. On the other hand, if he's opening a ticket, if somebody is calling the help desk, we directly put in some information who we have collected. Not on a technical level, because right now it's just on the level, hey, let's make something visible for the user, for the service desk to identify, yes, there is now an issue maybe with SAP, there's now an issue with the web service, whatever, there's now an issue with the VDI. Finally, as a second example, who is more a little bit on the regional cloud, is if you provide an hosting service, maybe around a shop system. And if you, in this case, we have mostly consumers, we have mostly unmanaged clients who are accessing the system within the cloud, which means we cannot really install something here on the endpoint. We must install something within the cloud to get out some data. And that's one of our elements. And again, we're starting from a high level, maybe from marketing point of view this time. From marketing point of view, or even from a sales point of view, it's important to know how a user is consuming maybe the shop app. And Amazon have done a brilliant job in this over the last few years. They have optimized, as you know, the way when a user accesses the shop page, will search for something, puts this into the cart, and then he's performing the order. And that's exactly what we can do from a high level point of view as well. We can make the user journey visible. So really, the user starts maybe with a landing page. From here, he's looking into a portfolio page. From here, he's going into the next page, and so on. And the most important page, of course, for us is, hey, we would like that he's placing an order, and we would like lose him on the journey to this page. And with the data and with the analysis options from us, we make more or less everything visible, where the user is maybe exiting the process. So maybe he's not able to log in. Maybe something with the account creation is broken. Maybe something else is broken. We get some technical information mixed up with some commercial information in our data set as well, really to make it transparent. And again, keep in mind, there's still the action part. So if we're recognizing something goes wrong, in the easiest case, maybe we inform just only somebody with an email. In the best case, we start a complete workflow to fix something or to start a complete routine to get everything up to normal. However, from this point on, there are also a technical part on. The user journey is just only what the user is experience on the end, on the user end. But at the other end, in the back end, in the cloud system, there will be multiple systems normally used. And again, the data will feed now our analytics engine to highlight all these views, all the flows. So we can really identify, hey, the SQL query on database A needs 20 seconds instead of 1 second. We can highlight this. We can double check if the internal communication works well. And we have all the possibilities that's on the left-hand side to perform synthetic tests, really to use robots to identify issues much earlier from a user point of view, instead of waiting for users that they are starting to complain or even don't proceed within the SROP system, so don't place an order. This was really a very short introduction in what unified observability is really for Riverbed and Eternity. If you would like to learn more about it, or if you would like to see it in action, join us in a couple of minutes in our masterclass. It's a hard rock cafe. In this masterclass, I will give you really some live example. We will open our UI, we will go through some situations, and we will also show you how, for example, the network performance management side is still working in a cloud management, really to identify packet flows and other scenarios in data who you can go forward. If you don't have time to join our masterclass, my people or my colleagues on site will be wait for you on booth D04. So if you're on the way to the coffee machine here, it's not far away to our booth. Have a look to this. Again, unfortunately, I'm not on site. I'm celebrating so far the cloud connection now, but I hope that I can join next year the CloudFest on site. Thanks for listening. That's all from my side. I hope I've given you a really nice introduction into what Riverbed and Eternity is now doing. And I hope we will see you soon.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thanks, Oliver.
Maybe one small detail what Oliver missed. At 4 p.m. we have a booth party at our booth.
Exactly.
So if you want to talk about business, let's come to our booth. But if you would like to have a beer or a glass of wine, you're more than welcome to join us on our booth at 4 p.m. And thank you very much. Have a great time.
That was closing comment number 1. Closing comment number 2. Everything you heard about the partnership with Matrix 42, with our partner Telonic, who's at the booth as well, and everything about unified observability, you don't find it at our website yet. This is a pre-launch. So Q&A conducted at D04. See you there or at the party. Thanks so much.
Cheers, bye.